Aquaman number 33, Dan Abnett and Riccardo Federici on the art. This is the end of the Crown of Thorns, or Bringing Down the Crown, or whatever it's called. Uh,
Yep.
so, as much as this is meant to be the end of this arc, and then we'll start the actual taking on Wrath, honestly, everything from issue 25 feels like one big arc. Really.
It does. Like,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. So it's a trilogy of arcs, if you will.
I think in particular it felt like, to me at least, I know this is the end of the arc and the next one is a new arc, but it felt like, okay, this is the issue before the last of the arc, and then go take down Wrath will be the last issue almost.
But instead, we're going to have like a whole arc of taking down Wrath, which will be fine if they make it interesting.
As long as it's paced correctly, yeah.
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 So
Well, 'cause,
that's
he
fine.
still has the magic on his side. Those guys are still him. They took down the crown, but they're still all out there.
Yeah, it was the Silent School that the storm, because most of this issue is just an action issue, which made it a very
Yeah.
quick read. Not a whole ton to talk about really, but it's all action, all action. They get in the King Shark and the sort of the gangs of the Ninth Tribe. They do come in and help. Ultimately, it's kind of like a cavalry's here kind of moment,
Yep.
and they take down the crown. And then Arthur swims Mira to the surface as quickly as possible because she needs to get to the surface to heal. Because the crown's down, she will actually, go back to being normal, but she needs to heal for a bit first. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's the whole thing. And he's like, you're the Queen of Atlantis now.
Yeah. And that sets up her mini that we're getting.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
So that went from when it was announced, going like, yeah, I ain't reading that, to oh man, I'm kind of excited.
Well,
Yeah,
see
because
what
at the
this does.
time it was like, why are we getting this? But now I see
Yeah.
where it takes place in the story. This is, her waiting, it'll be impatient that she can't go back down and, start her
Yep.
duties and all that sort of stuff.
Well,
yeah.
and it'll wrap up her in their town,
Yeah.
and what she's doing. And I hope we haven't seen Ocean Master since New 52. So I'm hoping this reintroduces him.
Well, that's the
That
thing.
was,
When they
what
when they
factors in.
announced the mini and it was Abnett writing, I was like, okay, this is going to tie in quite heavily to the main book, I imagine. So here we see that Aquaman's going to deal with Wrath, so Mira's on her own, and she's going to deal with the fact that she's going to become queen. So yeah, clearly they've set up here I get sort of two stories that are going to tangentially go side by side.
And then I'm okay. My main problem with Titans with Abnett just felt like he was spinning his wheels. Here it feels like this is something that he's had planned.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Like I think Titans, there's a problem that's become more clear as time's went on, and we've seen because immediately Williamson got Wally, and it started to feel
Yep.
like, oh, here things are happening.
Yeah.
So I don't mind my time that I spent with Titans, but it definitely feels like it was a
Oh.
little wheel spinner.
was-
Yeah.
Yeah, and here it's been progressively moving forward. Even that Nemo stuff with Black Manta, I was kind of like, But since that ended, this has really been going forward.
Yeah,
So
since the mid-teens, this has actually been a really enjoyable book.
I think it picked up around there and it got better, but it still felt like, okay, these are just some fun arcs. It was 25 where it's like, okay, we have a direction now.
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
and weirdly, it started to feel like Game of Thrones, just because you were dealing with different groups. Like the widowhood became more prominent. You had the Ninth Tribe, the lower classes, and then Wrath and his whole identity.
I
you
think that word you just used there, direction, is a good way to put it. It suddenly felt like it had like a name.
Yeah.
And that's been good. Obviously, the art was in this was pretty good. Federici's
Yeah.
obviously not as amazing as Cedric, but
No.
keeping the style, keeping the sort of tone.
A competent replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly, if,
But like
if,
it's
if,
always
if this
said,
if this was the regular artist now for like years of Aquaman comics, I would not be complaining.
oh no, not at all.
No.
But like Pete's been saying since Cedric left or started working on something else, whatever that is, he's got like the color, the character designs. So it was really seamless going to
Yeah.
Federici.
Like I said, I feel like Cedric has set up the style of Aquaman for years to come. In the same way that when the New 52 started and John's and stuff, that stuff continued right up until issue 25 of this. That
Yeah.
was the standard style for Aquaman. I feel like this will probably last as the standard style for a while now.
Even just giving him the long hair and the beard was like,
Yeah.
that was the change at the same
Well,
time.
and the denizens of Atlantis calling him the Aquaman. Like
Yeah.
that's a surface name. It was always King Arthur down there, which that's weird when you think about that. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, I think I do like the idea of him being like the Batman of Atlantis down there. Now, obviously, you
Yeah.
don't want to just do Batman stories, but I do like the idea of him
No.
being a vigilante down there. It's kind of an interesting twist on it.
I'm intrigued to see his role in the new system. Obviously, of Mirror's Queen. So will he be? He'll presumably get some official position. Will he be some sort of enforcer? Head of like security, whatever Atlantis has.
Or does it give him like more time to spend on the surface? Do we get more surface stories
Yep.
with Aquaman?
That's how I took that, because when they were telling that Mirror would have to go down there and rule, that means they can't have their lighthouse life, but that kind of leaves them with nothing to do. So I thought, well, he can go do the superhero stuff.